Hey guys, and welcome back to our grand finale episode of the Love On UK Season 5.
Season 5, and there were 57 episodes. Unlike ours, I think we had about 30. So if you guys haven't caught up on those episodes, make sure you go to 9 now and check those out. Mate, what did you think of this series?
This series was hands down my favourite one of all time. And I didn't think you'd be able to top Season 3 with the Chris and Kem and that whole...
and the Dommy Levo and Jess, they just had a baby.
I know, crazy,
Mate,
crazy.
Absolutely insane. So I agree with you. I think this series was up there. I'm not sure if it tops it, but it's definitely up there on par with Season 3.
I felt like this season just had everything. You had love triangles, drama, cheating scandals, two-day relationships. I mean, you had everything.
Two-day relationships.
You had everything this season, and yeah, I loved it. I loved every second of it.
Mate, and we've just watched the grand finale. How do you think that went down?
Not as expected. I was not expecting Greg and Amber to win. I thought hands down it was going to be Tommy and Molly-Mae. I know you predicted Tommy and Molly-Mae in week 2 of our recap, so I've got to say I'm slightly stoked that you got it wrong because I was way off the mark. I picked Joe and Lucy.
So you were way off the mark. I agree. I didn't expect Amber and Greg to take this one out, but I'm pretty stoked, to be honest.
Yeah, it was good. So we saw 36 Islanders in total come into the villa this year.
Yeah.
What did you think of the characters as a whole?
Mate, I think it was an amazing cast. I thought they had everything. I thought they had the funny guys, they had the serious guys, they had the ones that were in there for, the right reasons, some that weren't. I think Michael. But I think the cast was amazing.
Yeah, I loved it. I didn't think they could do anything different. I don't think they needed to, and I think they nailed it. So it was really stoked. So moving forward to the finale and the last 4 couples. We mentioned earlier, Amber and Greg, they took it out. I mean, who would have picked that?
Mate, honestly, Amber had the biggest ride this series. Obviously, she came in day 1, and Michael also came in day 1. It took a bit for them to, get to like each other. I think it took probably 2 weeks for her to get out of her shell. And then he's gone to Casa Amor and completely ruined it.
I mean, we've spoken about Michael countless times on the show, and I was just really happy to see Amber close that chapter of that relationship, and she was able to move forward with Greg. I wasn't sure about Greg and Amber at the start. I thought that they didn't really seem too compatible. We'd seen Amber has said in the past she likes the guys with tattoos, she likes the guys who are quite big, and she kind of likes a bad boy. Greg's a studying lawyer. I mean, he's not really the bad boy type.
He's a gentleman though.
He is.
I actually thought from that first date on the villa, on the villa terrace, I honestly thought that they hit it off straight away.
Really?
Like, even her going through the door and not working, like, they sort of just had a bit of a joke about it, whereas, I don't know, I feel like they could have totally gone down the wrong way.
I was a little bit suspicious on Greg because, we've seen in the past Islanders come into the villa and they kind of have obviously watched the whole series. They can pick apart what each person likes and you can just play up to that. We saw John James come into the villa in our season and said he wants to donate his whole inheritance to a puppy charity, when he was tuning Millie. He's sort of played up to that a bit as well. I think you played up to that a lot. In the villa, you came in with the 6 girls and you had, one-liners ready to go. You had A, B, C, D, and E. So you sort of played up to that as well. But I thought it was interesting that Amber was the last original in the final 4.
And she won. And the other thing I noticed was they went on the date on the yacht. And Taylor and Grant also went on the date on the yacht.
Oh, conspiracy,
mate. Conspiracy theories.
So with Greg and Amber obviously winning, how do you think Greg felt, literally being in the villa, 12, 13 days?
Look, it's sort of like Amelia. Like, I honestly think about Amelia in the same sort of sense. She came in pretty late towards the end of the game, and obviously she made it into the finale, and she probably would have been thinking, it would have been the exact same situation. You were an original. She would have been thinking, oh, this is going to be hard for us to take it out. So I think Greg would have been pretty shocked.
Yeah, I mean, coming from a perspective of being in a couple with someone who'd only just entered the villa, you're right. Amelia was saying I don't know if we can, make the last 3 and all that sort of stuff. So I feel like Greg would have been so surprised that they were even in the final 3, let alone, took it out.
And then he had the option with the 50K. So Amber opened her envelope first and she had the 0. And then he opened up his and he had the 50.
I was a little bit worried there because I was like, these two have only really been, having a crack at each other for a few days here. So I thought Greg, he's a really good bloke, but I thought you never quite think that they're 100% going to split it. So I was like, maybe in the back of his head, he's like, I'll take the 50K and I'll just be on my way, I'll play rugby again.
If he honestly took the 50K, he would have had death threats.
Yeah.
In the UK, they're pretty serious about their reality TV, and I think he wouldn't have been wanting to be by himself out in public.
I agree. Do you think anyone ever will take the money? Do you think it'll ever happen?
Look, some people say that our season with things that went on, Grant might have took the money, but I don't even talk to Grant at all, and I can say I don't think he would have taken the money. I feel like at the time he would have split it still. So. Yeah,
I agree with you. I think you got to be really, really ballsy to take the money.
So I probably would have done it.
Do you think they'll last on the outside?
I think Amber and Greg, the only thing that may get between them is the distance. I think they do suit each other, but he's in Ireland, he's got his rugby commitments. It's a massive whirlwind when you get out of Love Island. They've got a lot of public appearances and all of that, so you just never know.
Well, Amber even did mention that she's not sure how it is going to work with Greg playing rugby all around the world. I mean, Amber can't follow him around the world while he's doing all his rugby, so it's going to be interesting to see what plays out with those two as a couple. And it's like you said, when you get out of that villa, it's a whirlwind of experiences you've never had in your life, and you can't prepare for what's going to come to you when you leave the villa. It's interesting because you and Shelby were in different locations, and that's partly one of the reasons it did fizzle out.
That was the main reason. Like, you obviously want to commit to each other, but at the same time, if you're not that far in, like Greg and Amber have only really been together 2 weeks, if that.
Max,
So it's sort of like, is it worth putting your time and effort and your emotional, you just can be emotionally drained over something that's not, you don't need to put that much effort into.
I think it can work in both ways. Coming off the show as a single, you can obviously do whatever you want. You can explore things, however you want. But when you've got someone in a couple, you can go through that experience together. You can lean on each other when times get tough, because times they're amazing. You go through massive highs, but also it is tough in there. There's a lot of pressure on you. There's all eyes on you. There's cameras on you. There's paparazzi. Whatever you're doing, you're being watched, and you're never used to that. So I think that those two will go the distance. I think they're going to last. I really do. I know it's early days, but they just seem so genuine.
I think 6 months to a year.
Okay.
Mate, we've disagreed with each other a lot on this podcast, so
that's true.
It still continues.
Right.
But obviously there was Tommy and Molly-Mae, who we both thought, was the outright winner. What do you think happened?
I mean, I feel like with Tommy and Molly-Mae, we got a little bit bored in their relationship. They didn't do anything wrong after the whole Maura drama. I felt like they were moving forward at a great pace. They were, they admitted they were heavily in love with each other. They were exclusive. They were the whole, shebang. As an audience member myself, I just got a little bit bored with their relationship, and I feel bad for saying that because they didn't do anything wrong.
Well, they weren't getting too much screen time towards the end, and I agree. I think they were getting a little bit stagnant in their relationship. I don't think there was much exciting happening with them, so they just didn't get much screen time.
I mean, with their commitment ceremony speech, there was tears when they were talking about their love for each other. I thought that was really, really good to see that. How genuine they were as a couple. It
was really nice, but hey, I reckon Tommy just knows exactly what to say.
Really?
Like, he just has the nation's heart in his hand, and he's just he knows exactly what to say. And I feel like he thought that what he said throughout the series to Molly-Mae was just going to get him that win. And
so do you think the public sort of became a bit tired
They became tired of the whole, I love you so much, Molly-Mae. When I get out, I'm going to get you 1,000 roses every second week. And do you know what I mean? I just think it was a bit too much.
It'll be interesting to see how they go on the outside, because they're put up as that golden couple that are going to last. They're going to have the kids, they're going to get married. I mean,
I'm calling it. They're going to get married.
You're calling it?
I know he talks all that rubbish, and I think, I'm saying the public gets sick of it, but I do think they will last. I just think he was overdoing it with his love to her. He was overdoing it.
So you think it's genuine?
I think it's genuine, but I think he was overdoing it to win over the public. If he just held it back a bit.
Yeah. I think that another reason they may have not won was the dancing, when you saw Tommy's dance moves. I mean, he was he looked like he was buried in cement and he couldn't move.
Who did you steal that off, Ovi? I'm pretty sure Ovi said that.
That's all myself.
Talking about Ovi.
Yeah.
What did you think about Ovi and Indiana?
Indiana or India?
Indiana. Indiana Jones. We all know.
I love them as a couple.
Yeah.
I thought they were a really fresh breath of air to the villa and to the couples, because they weren't your stock standard, villa couple. They had a lot of personality. They had a lot of fun times.
Yeah.
Ovi was obviously a cool cat.
If I was to say who was my favourite New Islander for guys, I'd say Ovi.
Really?
Yeah, I think he brought a lot to the villa. He's a genuine guy. He cared for Amber a lot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he was her big brother.
Yeah, well, he said that he was looking over, for a majority of his time in the villa, looking over Amber and making sure she was okay. And I thought that was so nice to come forward and say, my main purpose for a long time was to look after Amber and make sure she was okay. So I feel like he was so deserved to have a girl come in.
Deserved.
That's not a word, we'll roll with it. Was so deserved to have a girl come in that really cares about him and wants to go for him and has eyes for no one else. And I thought that it was really nice that Ovi had someone like that. I loved it when India's family came into the villa. And India haven't seen her mum for however long, and she ran straight over past India to Ovi, gave him a big hug. It was kind of like when I met your mum. She went straight past you, gave me a big hug, big kiss on the cheek, and she told me how much she loved me.
Let's not talk about mums, because Odette inboxes me every second day. So there you have it.
She's trying to look after you, mate. She can see, there's a few things going on there, and she needs to help you. So I don't blame her, mate.
Fair enough. Do you think Ovi and India will last on the outside?
I feel like they will last. Yeah, I feel like they'll last for a decent amount of time. They might get to the year and a half mark, and they might reassess from there. I think they'll last for a while. They're both genuine people. They're both in there for the right reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you can see
agree.
that. So do you?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Moving on to a couple that I probably don't think will last on the outside, and that is Maura and Curtis. They came 4th place. Where do we even start with this couple?
Mate, they're probably the most controversial couple, I think, other than Michael and Amber. Yeah. I think, Curtis obviously was coupled up with Amy, who was half girlfriend with Amy. There was a massive story there. I think Curtis and Amy will still be mates once they get out. And then Maura, on the other hand, comes swooping in halfway through the season, saying that she reckons she wished she did it straight up. And I think that's just a load of bollocks.
Well, I actually agree with you. Maura was saying to Caroline Flack at the end that, you know, she only had eyes for Curtis, but she didn't want to step on anyone's toes coming into the villa. What did you do to Tommy and Molly-Mae? She didn't just, she trod all over Molly-Mae, to go for Tommy. So I found that comment a little bit interesting because, the past has shown that you're not scared to tread on anyone.
Was it a play just to sort of like say to the public that I always had eyes for him and like we are a genuine couple and all that sort of stuff? Because for me, I think, they do like each other, but I think they'll get on the outside and they'll just get over it.
I mean, Maura's saying she's after a manly man. She's calling Curtis a manly man. Now, if Curtis is a manly man, you're a manly man. And I know that's not true. So he is not sort of a manly man. He's sort of, and that's fine. Not everyone's like that. But what she's saying her type is not Curtis. So there's a...
But in saying that, me and you both said that we go for blonde hair, blue eyes, and we both ended up with brown hair, brown eyes. So,
that's true.
People do end up with, different...
Not the person that they want.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I get what you mean. Do you think that Curtis ditching Amy, ditching's a horrible word,
we'll go with it,
respectfully moving on from Amy, is going to hinder his chance of ultimately winning?
Look, I think if he stayed with Amy, it would have shown that he wasn't happy, and I just think the public would have seen straight through it. I reckon they probably would have got voted out towards the end of the series. They probably wouldn't have even made the final. There
was a lot of outroar saying that Anton and Belle should have been in the final over Maura and Curtis. It's much of the muchness with those two, hey? Yeah. I do think that Anton and Belle have more of a chance of lasting on the outside than Maura and Curtis. If you look at it like that, maybe they should have been in there.
I just think because they were such big players that they got the big votes. Do you know what I mean? I feel like Anton would have got a fair few votes because he was loved. Yeah. Belle, on the other hand, I feel like they didn't show too much of her, so there wasn't a lot of the public that would have like loved her.
Latched onto the couple. Yeah, I agree with that. All right, guys, and now to wrap up this year's Love Island series, we thought we'd answer a few questions, breaking down who our favourite couples are and who we didn't like, gameplay, all that sort of stuff. So let's get into it. This will be interesting. All
right, so we'll start off with who was your favourite Islander of the whole series?
I have to go with an arrival, and it's got to be my man Ovi. I think they couldn't have had a cooler guy come in. I thought his banter was top-notch, and he was just pure entertainment from the get-go.
Fair enough.
What about you, mate?
Look, I reckon Anton. I think Anton, he got pied off for the whole series. He came back. He fell in love. He was a massive, valuable person to the villa. He made everyone laugh. He cried. I think he was just a great addition.
Yeah, he was quite funny.
Yeah.
Who were you saddest to see dumped?
All right. I'm going to go with my girl. I have a guess.
Arabella?
No, Joanna. I feel like...
Oh my God.
I feel like, I just wanted
what a joke.
I just wanted to watch a bit more of her on the TV. I think she could have been really good if she was there as a non-Casa Amor person and was in the mix with that drama. I feel like she could have just been a really great addition to the villa.
Is that why you're always scrolling her Instagram? Because you wanted to see her more on TV?
I just miss her so much.
Well, I am going to go with Francesca. I feel like she didn't get a lot of time in the villa. She was a funny character. I feel like if she came in a bit earlier, we would have been really nice to see, a love story develop for her. I think that there was a lot of Islanders this year that got 2-3 days in there.
Yeah,
it's tough.
I agree with you. I feel Francesca, if she came in earlier on, they probably would have brought someone that was better suited for her in, but it was sort of just like her time was up before it even started.
Yeah, I agree.
So she got a bit unlucky.
That's it.
Who do you think was the biggest game player?
I have to go with Michael. I mean, that's an obvious one. That screams out at me. The whole drama with, him liking Amber. Then he came back with Joanna from Casa Amor. He told Joanna that, she's got nothing to worry about. All his cards are in Joanna's deck.
Yeah.
And that he'll never go back to Amber. Told Amber he'll never go back to her. Joanna gets dumped from the
You're
villa.
just like...
I know, it's crazy. Then he goes to Amber and tells Amber, I really, really like you. Amber was, so confused. I just thought that you might as well have game player tattooed on your forehead.
Exactly,
like it was so obvious. But what about you?
I agree with you. There's nothing more I can say really. You've nailed that one.
That's what I do. Who would you have liked to seen more of?
I'd say probably Chris.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of the Islanders were always going on about how funny he was, how much charisma he brought to the villa. And we saw a few bits and pieces, but I feel like there was a lot more behind the scenes that we didn't really see. Yeah,
I agree with that. I think I would like to have seen more of Belle. I feel like every time she spoke, it was like really something of value, and I feel like she brought a lot to the villa. She called people out on their, bullcrap, bull crap to keep it PG, and she didn't take, anything from anyone, So I would have liked to see more of Belle, and then that maybe could have got Anton and Belle into the final four.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The last one is, do you think any of the Islanders in the whole series, there was 36 of them, do we think that anyone will get together on the outside and do a Dom and Taylor?
I would say that if any of them are going to get together, it's going to be Michael pursuing them. And we saw Michael pursue so many different, relationships in the villa. I feel like he's going to just try and latch on to whoever will show him any interest. So
look, I think I've seen a few Islanders hanging out already, and I've seen Joe. He seems like he's cracking on to Arabella.
Yeah.
I think Joe might do a little dirty with some of the girls that he didn't actually meet while he was in there, whilst he was in there.
Yeah.
So maybe the likes of Joanna and Joe. I don't think they suit, but I think he'll definitely have a crack with some of those girls.
Yeah, for sure. Be interesting to see what happens.
All right, guys, there you have it. That's our grand final recap. We've done 8 weeks plus the grand finale, and what an amazing series it's been. Unfortunately, that's it for us with Love Island UK.
We appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, if you want to find our podcast, search Dom and Josh, Intelligence Pending. We're on iTunes and Spotify.
And also, if you haven't already caught up with all the episodes from this series, make sure you go to 9 now.
And thanks so much, guys. As we said, that's it. So we appreciate tuning in, and
bye for now.
See you later.